Mike, I got to ask you something. The NBA has to face reality. What's happening to these players is serious. They're going to need new players with talent, guys who are skilled but never really thought about a professional career before. You think I got a shot? Come on, really.
No.
Don't kid me.
Listen, it's a man's game. And you can't play.
What if I tried really hard?
Can you keep it down? I'm trying to hit this ball.
It's because I'm white, isn't it?
No, Larry's white, so what?
Larry's not white. Larry's clear.
Gotcha, Larry.
Oh, boy, that's nice.
Get inside of his ball.
Oh, you clowns can't beat that. It's the best shot I ever hit.
You haven't been playing long.
It's a Hall of Fame shot.
We had a nice shot, Mr. Larry, please.
Change the game.
Execution. Good job of executing.
It's just that it was my idea, Dennis. It's sort of like the jean shorts, you know, where you...
Look at me when you're talking to me!
Oh, shit. I think the stakes are here.
We did a good job executing. Are you upset with something?
Happy feet, combo combo. That ain't
Good execution.
There's a guard. I'll snap his neck.
We did a good job executing tonight.
No. No. No, you will not. Don't you wash a motherfucking thing. I don't want you to touch my finger. I don't want you to do a goddamn thing to me. Don't wash me no motherfucking more. And if you do, I'll bite you, you motherfucking. Don't you wash me anymore. I don't care if I die. Don't you wash me no more.
It was a good job. We did a great job executing.
Thank you, Russ. Welcome to Winning Time Tapes. I'm your host, Cameron, and with me for the first time is my friend, DeAndre.
Hello, how you doing?
We are big basketball fans, and currently we're on the eve of the conference finals between his Boston Celtics and Indiana Pacers versus Dallas Mavericks and Minnesota Timberwolves. But first, how did you get into basketball?
Well, first and foremost, basketball has always been a big part of my life ever since I was growing up. Originally, my family is from Boston, Massachusetts, well, in particular, Springfield. My grandfather was in the Navy. He migrated over here. There, they shipped him over to the California base, and we lived out here ever since I was about 6 years old. So my dad, grandfather, grandmother, everybody in my family was just huge Boston, whether it be Boston Celtics, New England Patriots, Red Sox, Bruins. I mean, you name it. Anything that was Boston related, we were, cheering and rooting for them. Basketball was the one sport that I gravitated to the most when I was young. My dad would take me out to the park, and show me how to play. And I took a big interest into it. Elementary, I remember looking at books when we would go to the library. I would go and pick out a sports book, and it would always be, I'd see Yao Ming, Shaquille O'Neal, all these guys, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter. I mean, all these guys who were big in the NBA, and I wanted to be just like that. And so that's how I got started.
And so, always, interested in basketball ever since you're young. You coach basketball for where you work at?
Yeah, currently at the, I don't know, is it okay if I say the school?
Oh, yeah, you can say both schools.
Okay, I was at Mary Hill, Midtown. I was also coaching at Christian Brothers here in Sacramento, Christian Brothers High. But it wasn't like it was more the AAU team that they had put me in. It was like an AAU program, and I was coaching fourth, fifth, sixth graders, and it was really fun. It was my first time, my first experience. It was something that I always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be in coaching. Always wanted to be in some type of relatively basketball space, and I felt like teaching and giving back lessons that I learned, from my prior youth, even though I'm still relatively young, I was able to give back, and I felt like it was something that it was easy for me to do. I transitioned to it pretty well, I think. And I feel like, it's something that's going to continue to grow, hopefully, and we'll see if I can get into a more bigger space, hopefully into like a high school, and then obviously a dream would be college or even further beyond. So we'll see.
Yeah, currently my goals as well is just starting. This is my second year coaching middle school, and now trying to like be an English teacher somewhere at a high school with a good basketball program, and then slide to be on the coaching staff that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're a young man, but a little older than me. Do you remember the Boston Celtics run in 2002 with Paul Pierce and Antoine Walker? Or is that still a little ahead of you?
It's funny. Okay, so I can tell you exactly when I got into the NBA. So I was into basketball when I was young. So people think automatically NBA.
Right.
But I was just basketball as in, the sport. I didn't know the NBA. I didn't know there was a league. I didn't know that was such a thing until relatively, I want to say there was the championship runs when the Boston Celtics in 08. That's when I actually started. So ironically, it was like when I was 10 or 11 years old. I remember vividly because, it was a big time in our house. Everybody would talk about it. That's around the time that I got started watching the NBA is when the Boston Celtics had that championship run. Iconic KG, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, Rondo. I can name the entire team right now. So that's kind of when I got started. So, unfortunately, I did not see those prior years, although, I did look into it, and I do, wish I was able to see that because, there was some good time. Antoine Walker, shout out to you, Cyber Twan. So, there was definitely some good runs in there. And I wish I was able to see it.
Yeah. So now Boston is in the Tatum and Brown era, which you finally got to see in person recently.
Oh, yeah.
How was that?
That was fantastic, man. It was actually my first NBA game in general. I've never actually went to an arena before, so that was cool. It was shout out to the Kings out here in Sacramento. That arena is amazing, by the way. Top at least top five in the NBA. I mean, the fans were rocking. The place was humongous, and everything was fantastic to look at. It was off the charts. Shout out to the Kings, but. Unfortunately, Tatum wasn't playing in that game, but still, just being able to see him, kind of up close and personal, one of the dreams come true, definitely as a fan.
So that was earlier this season. Now, as we get to the season we're at now, Celtics are going up against the Pacers.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
If I'm going to give my honest opinion, I feel that it could be at least going to 6. If I feel, if I'm being, honest, I think that it should go no more.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, but I feel, and I it's gonna be funny too if we kind of do the same repeat of win game 1, lose game 2, and then win the rest of the way.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's kind of been like our recipe, our formula, but I don't think that's a good formula necessarily. So we'll see kind of how that plays out. I'm excited how we come out and play. We got a lot of rest. Good time for Porzingis. Hopefully he comes back soon. So I'm excited, and we should be ready to play.
So, as a Boston fan, you were rooting for the Knicks in that Game 7, right?
Honestly, I didn't want it to go either way. I mean, honestly, it's because, here's the thing. people keep saying, and I keep hearing this, I don't say people, but just people out
You
there in
read.
the media,
Yeah.
out there in the media, or just people in general, just saying this is the easiest path that the Boston Celtics have, or not even just the Boston Celtics, just any team in NBA history has ever had to the finals. First of all, we got to get there first. Okay, so knock on wood. But now I'm hearing, that the Pacers could be a little bit of a challenge. So I don't want to hear if the Pacers give a challenge that we have the easiest path. It can't be both ways. That's how I feel. It's like one or the other. So I feel like we can only play who's in front of us, and that's why you get the number 1 seed. So you can play the 8th seed. So you can play, what do we play, the 4th or 5th seed in Cleveland? So that's why you do those things in the regular season, is to get that, lesser path, I guess you could say. And that's not our fault. We did our job, and that's what we were supposed to do. So that's how I feel.
And I feel like every champion has had the easiest path according to Twitter. Like, who's had a hard path?
Right.
And the only response is Jordan. Like Jordan when he was, killing everybody.
Well, even now they're starting to say, the 90s. I don't know if you've seen that hashtag, we're done with the 90s. But I'm like, okay, I don't know if we're up with that. But people feel like the Milwaukee championship
was easy.
The Warriors, when they got people got hurt in the first round. So,
The Bucks one, again, I'm not a Giannis stan, but they were down 0-2 in the finals.
Yeah.
How can you say that's easy?
If they came back, exactly. The man had a 50-point piece to close it out. I don't understand. It's not easy to do that. It's not easy to beat a team in the NBA in the finals. So, no ring. It's easy.
I will say, again, to push back a little bit, as the non-Boston fan, I think this year, as it is now, would be the biggest letdown in this Tatum and Brown era.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, if they don't get it done, the thing. Now, though, you asked me who I was cheering for. The one I was cheering for was that Denver and Minnesota, because I felt like if we see Denver, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You got a real happy.
That's going to be the one where we kind of say, that's going to be legit. And not to shade and not to knock Minnesota now, because Minnesota is a real deal too. They beat Denver. So, but if I could just make a quick point.
Yeah.
The owner, I don't know if it's the owner, the GM
Timberwolves?
Of the Timberwolves.
Yeah, that whole ownership situation.
Yeah, that whole ownership
situation. A-Rod and so on.
If I'm not mistaken, he was partly with Denver and put together that team when they drafted Jokic. They drafted that team that is now so he knows the formula. He knows the ins and outs of that team.
Yeah, Tim Connolly.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like he drafted and he traded well to that Minnesota team, and they matched up. You heard him, Jokic, in his press conference afterwards say that they matched up with them really well.
Yeah, no.
So they know each other.
And to what you said about regular season, again, there's a certain mentality of you have to play everybody. The best, you'll end up fighting the best teams eventually. Mm-hmm. But there's a chance that if Wembanyama doesn't destroy the Nuggets in that one random Saturday game, the Nuggets are now the 1 seed and don't have to play the Timberwolves potentially, or at least until the conference finals.
Right. That was a big topic of discussion at the time too. I remember that, and it kind of came back. But at the end of the day, if Denver was going to be the championship again, then they had to beat
Minnesota anyway.
You know what I'm saying? So it was going to come to them anyway.
That ending was so unlike Denver, because it felt like the end of the third quarter they were up 10, and Jokic is the best person with the lead since Tim Duncan.
I was watching that game, and it just felt, you could see in the arena the air and everybody just kind of sink, and just kind of because everybody just kept missing shot after shot after shot, and they just kept leaving the door open for Minnesota. And I said, man, here they come. You know what I mean? Because they were, like you said, they were down, and they still had a chance to close that gap, to close that, to stop that run. But they just they could not buy a bucket and just bit them.
big Frenchman was like, grenade!
They said it too. It's like, and I said too, when he hit that, it was like, okay, it's destined. Like it's over. It's one of those games. It's one of those things. Jokic tried his best. That's all to him. MVP should be for sure. But they didn't have enough. I don't know. Michael Porter Jr. I don't know. Aaron Gordon, who has been great this series.
Yeah.
I heard he didn't have a defensive rebound. The
Really?
whole game.
That's great.
The whole game. So
the thing that was
it's hard to do.
To not just trash Denver. Yeah. The part that popped off for Minnesota Game 7 was Nas Reed. Nas Reed owned that game, and just can Aaron Gordon box him out once?
Yeah, this guy, he came to play. I mean, Nas Reed, I haven't heard his name too much before, but now I know who you are, man. This guy he's legit, 6-man for sure, and he could be a starter right now, So
and
he's good.
There's some people who say he should be a starter in some matchups and rotations instead of Gobert.
Yeah, well,
at points.
I felt like Gobert, he actually did what he was supposed to do, and towards the end of that series, towards the end of that game,
It was crazy for Draymond Green to call him out like that because Draymond Green is smart enough to know Rudy is better roaming around and not playing Jokic straight up because Draymond never played LeBron straight up.
I don't know about Draymond. He can't say too much right now. He's not playing. He's not in the league. He's not in the playoffs. So
he got to appear on the NBA Inside. R.I.P.
Yeah, it's just man, that's gonna be sad.
Dude, that's such a crime. They're getting
that could be a whole nother topic, a whole nother show right there. But no, I don't think Draymond should have came out and blasted him like that because he was doing. It's a scheme. It's a game plan. He's doing the best that he can, and in the end, they ended up winning.
Yeah.
So what can you say?
Nothing. And going a tiny bit back to as Boston, who you rooting for. Mm-hmm. Now as we head to the Western Conference, who you want to see in the finals more? To just most likely win a title against.
Well, I do want to see Minnesota. I do.
Okay.
I want the best competition. Like I said, that's why I said Indiana before. I want the best competition.
Okay.
I'm not shying away from the competition, even if we got Denver.
You want to beat the Path allegations.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm more that, and I just want us to rightfully claim, what should be ours. I do feel like it is our year. So, knock on wood. I am very superstitious, but at the same time, we've been knocking on this door for a while now, and I feel like it is our time. We should prevail at this point. There's no reason why not to. We have all the pieces, assuming Porzingis comes back. We had the experience, so there's just no excuse at this point. If they want to get it done, if they want to be a champion, this is the year, this is the time, and there's no excuse for why we shouldn't.
Besides Porzingis not coming back, what as Celtics, without knowing who your opponent is, stopping the Celtics right now?
Ourselves. We stop ourselves.
Is that in terms of losing the lead or possessions where people stand around and Tatum takes a fadeaway?
Right. Well, a combination of a lot of the things is what I see when we beat ourselves is like you said, we stand around and it gets into ISO ball. So the thing when everybody kept saying that we shoot too many threes. This year, in particular, now we've done a lot better with the drive and kick threes, and I feel like that is a better way of generating, the three ball. But the threes that the people are talking about is when Tatum does the step back, dribble, to take a last second three. Those are the ones that kind of you cringe at when it's like he should just drive in and go to the basket and try to make a play. And it's one of those things where it's either, we lose a big lead, at the end of ball games, we get complacent, we don't play to the level of the talent, sometimes we was in Miami, we was in Cleveland. So those type of things where we have bad habits, we have to clean up. And that's why I said we beat ourselves. If we play to our true strengths and do the things that we're supposed to do, then I don't see anybody who could beat us,
I think everyone, competition-wise, can take one game off Boston because it happens for some reason, against Boston, a team finds their, like, historic playoff shooting night.
No, yeah, for sure. No, well, definitely the NBA is also full of talent now, so anybody can beat anybody. I'm not saying that we're, going to be undefeated, sweep, on like the what was it, the Lakers in that one run that just lost, 2 games or so, or maybe one game.
Oh, the 2001.
You know what I mean?
They lost one time.
Yeah, it was one time. Yeah, they lost that one time. So I'm not saying we're going to be like that, but I'm just saying that, especially at home too, we have to clean that up. Where it's like we should win the games that we should win. A lot against Miami, against Cleveland, but like you said, they have that historical night. But it's like the games that we should win, and the ones where it's crunch time, we have to figure out the way to win those games. Like,
I think if it was crunch time against, and they're showing me like if it's Minnesota, if it's 2 of the 3 bigs, why don't you just go super small? Tatum, Brown, and the 3 guards.
And then play like Porzingis.
Well, no, I'm saying like, if Porzingis comes back, that's great.
Right.
But I'm saying like Tatum, Brown, and then like Pritchard, White.
Oh, so Tatum at the 5.
Yeah, super small ball.
And Gobert's out there though.
I'm just saying, try to maybe like spread them, like pull them away from the rim with the 5 shooters.
That's going to be tough on the rebounding though for us. So
that's true.
I feel like I feel Gobert. I see what you're trying to say. And the matchups that we played against them this year, we won. I think we won 1-1.
Mm-hmm.
Tatum did play the 4.
Yeah,
and he was playing. He was playing against a lot of Carl Anthony Towns, and I like that matchup. I'm just saying that. Yeah. So I do. I do a favor. I do like that, but I feel like we still need that at least one day.
No, yeah. I just feel like Al Horford this year, to me, is starting to show the age a bit more, especially on the rebounding. He can still stroke it, but like sometimes his legs aren't all the way in it anymore, age 36, 37.
Which brings me to Joe Mazzulla. I got to get this off, man. Yeah. I don't understand. Okay? I need either one of these 3 guys to play, and you got 3 of them, so I don't understand why at least one of them is not playing. I need Namus, Keita, if that's how you say his name, Keita, O'Shea, Brissett, and Xavier Tillman. Because he's playing Luke Garnett. Okay. But these 3 guys have not played a single minute in the playoffs.
No, yeah, we've seen a tiny bit of Tillman in that.
A little bit, but it's not enough, man. There's no way not enough. But why did you sign him for it? There's no reason why we should have picked him up and he doesn't play now. Hey, recently, this is news, on this. His father just passed away, so he won't be playing game 1. So rest in peace, Xavier Tillman, his father. That's sad breaking news, but he should be playing more. Mm-hmm. And Keita. Because he is a beast on the boards, man. He helped us this year. Energy-wise, O'Shea Brissett, energy-wise, this guy gets rebounds all the time. I'm telling you, like, when I watch them and you put them in, they're like little Energizer bunnies. Mm-hmm. They just go. You know what I mean? And you need that in the playoffs. Yeah. When times get low and things are getting stuck and stifled and things not working, you need an energy play. Well, that's what I mean? To get you guys going.
The meme right now is that one of these 4 guys who won the Finals MVP, and it's Halliburton, Edwards, Luka, or Derek White.
Tatum, oh man!
Because Derek White is just again the energizer guy. Brown could take over quarters super easily. Tatum, I like what Tatum does, where he kind of feeds everybody in the first quarter. Like, oh, he only has 6 points. He's not getting his shot. But then, by third quarter, it's like, oh, now he has 25, 28.
Yeah, and I don't want to get on Tatum too much because this is all, to me, kind of recent bias. I mean, if you remember, I think it was a year ago where it was in Philly. And, I mean, it was like game 6, man. Oh, yeah. This guy in 14 seconds or something, it felt like, where he just hit 3 threes. And it was just one, what started in Joel, on that corner. I'll never forget that. And it just erupted. You know what I mean? And then another one with Milwaukee where he had 50. I mean, the closing. So,
like I'm not like going into last season. I thought Jason Tatum was going to win the regular season MVP.
Yeah,
last year.
He was one of the candidates for sure. He was up there, especially earlier this year. And I feel like the last 2 years though, he had like early runs.
Yeah,
kind of just tailed off.
Yeah, he has great Decembers.
Yeah. So I think he's more concerned, like you said, he's more concerned about the team, and team play, and I'm all for that.
Yeah.
It's just that there's certain times where it just needs to be him to take over.
Right. Because I think Drew Holiday for like Smart was really good at the time. Just trading out Smart for Holiday, because I think Holiday is more of a classic floor general and like knows how to get everybody going while also being like a perimeter anchor on defense. So you're not really missing that from Smart.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Smart though, man. Shout out to Marcus Smart.
No, Smart.
That's a guy who bleeds green.
You never want to part with your soul.
I mean, that guy bleeds green. Shout out to Marcus Smart. You are a bona fide Boston Celtic. You represent what it is to be a Celtic, man. And I just hope that one day you can come back, man. Because I mean, I understand what people, I understand the stigma and everything, but that guy just made winning plays, dude. I can tell you right now, at least 3 winning plays the guy made. You know what I mean? Houston Rockets, I remember we were playing James Harden, the guy gets, and we're like down or something, the guy gets an offensive foul 2 times in a row on James Harden, takes a charge, and it gets us the ball, and we win. It's like, it's those type of things, man, where, you're not going to find that in an everyday player.
No, everyone, we all hate Marcus Smart, Kyle Lowry, Jose Alvarado, but we all want one on our team.
Man, yeah, those guys, pesky. You know what I mean? And they hit timely shots. You know what I mean? So it's like, you need those guys. 3-and-D, shout out. Former Defensive Player of the Year.
I think maybe almost the overwhelmingly good thing for Boston is when they're on defense, they have so much size to throw at Halliburton.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be a tough matchup. He was already reluctant in the New York series.
Oh, yeah. No.
So he cannot be reluctant in this series because I don't think that, they're going to need his scoring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he can't just be this reluctant passer the entire time.
I'm from Sacramento, so I'm a little bit of a Halliburton hater.
You didn't like him when he was there?
Well, when he was here, he was only here for what felt like 6 months, so I didn't have a super formed opinion on him. But the fact I hated that all of the ESPN guys were like, "Oh, the Pacers won the trade, and we were the first between the two of them to make the playoffs." They won a couple rounds now, which I feel like the Pacers, if anything, has the whole easy path thing with no Giannis and then friggin'. Knicks only having 4 playable guys by the end.
Right. But in the regular season, though, they beat the Milwaukee Bucks,
Oh, yeah.
All those times. So I know it was definitely a weird year with all the injuries. But, Indiana is going to have a hard time, I think, dealing with all that pressure up top with especially our guards.
I think Siakam's a bona fide guy, though. Especially in that round 1, he kind of owned the Bucks by himself when Halliburton wasn't doing anything. So yeah, when watching Halliburton, it's half of the series. It's nice. He only got 8 points and 7 assists, and he looks soft when I read everything online. But then I'll have nights where he made 2 threes in a row, and he actually did make a game-winning shot. So it doesn't look as good for my agenda.
But getting back to what you said about the trade, and saying people think that. Who does it?
The Pacers
won.
Yeah,
I feel like that trade was even.
I think both teams,
both sides, right? I mean, you guys are happy with Sabonis, and they're happy with Halliburton. So both All-Stars.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Double All-Star trade doesn't happen too often anymore.
So I don't think anybody necessarily won. It was both teams won.
Yeah. So we had a conversation a couple weeks ago about Tatum or Luka on who you're starting a franchise around.
Oh, yeah. That was something I saw. Yeah.
I'm assuming you're still saying Tatum because of the two-way player?
So they said starting a franchise.
Right.
Yeah. And so to me, I felt like Tatum because he's a more so willing passer.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that willing, and not just willing passer, but just more so he's willing to be off the ball, I should say.
Sure, yeah.
That's what I meant. Like, it's like Luka is so ball dominant that everybody has to be, is dependent on him. Whereas Tatum can have an off night. But we have enough people, and we have guys that are capable that can go and just get their shot.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't have to be this guy where he has to be on the ball, facilitating, giving everybody their shot, getting the rebound, doing so much. I mean, that's kind of like a LeBron thing, but LeBron is such a phenomenon that he can do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, you hear it right now, playing with Luka is kind of tough. So I feel like starting franchise with Tatum will give you more options, give you more leeway, give you more things that you could do, build the pieces around to help you get to a championship. And I feel like you can see that. The man's been in the league, 7 years? And he's been to the Eastern Conference Finals?
6 of 8 years.
Six of 8 years? So, it's right there in the pudding to me that, it's a winning formula.
Now, one person who did hate playing with Luka, Porzingis.
Oh, man.
So revenge series for him if this
And
happens.
then look where he's at now with us, and look how happy he is.
He is much happier.
You know what I mean? So it's like you're happy with Tatum. You aren't happy with Luka. I don't know. You tell me.
So I'm not gonna propose this to needle you or to be uber contrarian on the show, but if it was all right, you're down 1, and you want one person, you want to start a score. Do you trust Tatum with his scoring / decision making, or Luka
to score?
To get
or
you
to get me a bucket.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go Tatum, but
Tatum's
I'll tell you who I'll take over Tatum right now.
Who is that? Edwards.
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards.
This guy, Anthony Edwards.
It's weird to me is watching him. He'll hit the threes that you expect random role player to be streaky with. He also hits those.
He hits these threes, these jump shots, his mid range is already elite. It reminds me of a young Kobe, and like they said, a young Jordan. He really does. It's kind of crazy.
People say it's blasphemous to compare him to Jordan, but I'm talking young Jordan, 88 Jordan, pre-championship Jordan. It kind of looks like that.
And shout out to another Boston Celtic who started this, KG, because I was watching his certified show. Shout out. He's the one that started that comparison where he said he looked like an 84 Jordan.
Yeah.
And that to me was kind of spot on because this guy, when you watch him play, and it's funny, I didn't know, but he has the the calf band, and Michael Jordan has the calf band. So he and he has the same. If you go look at Anthony Edwards body frame, and then you look at a Michael Jordan body frame, and you look at their uniform, they kind of, I don't know if Anthony Edwards does that on purpose, but they have the same kind of uniform, from the headband, or not the headband, but the wristbands to the calf band. To the short socks or whatever, so he kind of plays the part. And when I watch him and I see that fade away, it reminds me, and I've seen that before. So shout out to Anthony Edwards, man.
Anthony Edwards is he's to me a legit tough guy. He's the only person in this league where if I'm at the street at night and I see a scowl on his face, I do not want to fuck with him. Anybody else, I'm not saying I'd lose. I'm not trying to get in a fight with anybody. I'd lose all the fights, but I'd be scared of just seeing Anthony Edwards if I saw him mad at me.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I gotta fact this, but I believe he's from Georgia. That's right. So I gotta fact check that. But they don't mess around.
They don't play like that.
You know what I'm saying? He's from the South, so that's what I know. So they don't mess around, man. He definitely got that toughness in him, and he knows that he's not gonna play around. So anybody that snaps at him, and he's made Towns tougher too. He's made that whole team tougher. That whole team has taken on their personality. So
I love that interview he had after I think it was winning game 1, where it's he's gassing up Karl-Anthony Towns like a key part of our offense is having that big man, the best shooting big man in the league.
Yeah.
But stop fucking fouling.
Yeah.
That's my one reason why I don't go all out cheering for the Timberwolves. A lot of people hate Rudy Gobert for a lot of reasons, which I think are fine, but it's just that I think Cat is an idiot.
Sometimes and this is why I wanted to play them in the finals, because I don't feel they sometimes have smartest IQ and that's that inexperience. That's that
And also, it'd be nice to have for Boston to have the experience on someone like Anthony Edwards, who's 22 years old.
Yes, I mean, come on, man. That's going to be kind of incredible. If this guy wins an NBA championship at 22 years old, that is unprecedented. That is new territory in the NBA. We are witnessing history.
We're going to have a lot of talks about Devin Booker and others.
What? Don't even bring his name to the table right now.
As I'm saying in a dismissive way.
He is not in the conversation right now with Anthony Edwards. I'm sorry. But No. Because to get to this level, what he's doing to carry this team, to beat the defending champs on their home, Game 7, going back down 20, I feel like they're going to get past the Mavs, and it's going to be a tough matchup in the finals.
Yeah, the problem with the Mavericks, now we can touch them for a little bit, is it is kind of two guys, but then PJ Washington lost his went out, had an outer body experience for a little bit there.
Yeah. That, if you're asking me about that matchup, Timberwolves and the Mavericks, I feel like it's going to be tough.
Just you saw how Jamal Murray got swarmed in Game 2.
Man.
I feel like they could just kind of do that to Kyrie, even though Kyrie, in my opinion, is both the best handles and the best small basket finisher of all time.
That, I will say, will be interesting because in Denver, the ball handlers, Jamal and two-guard KCP, Jamal was that main ball handler, and he could go, be shifty, get buckets, and kind of, handle that pressure.
Yeah.
Whereas you have two in Dallas. You have Luka and Kyrie, who can both get off the ball, get shifty, shake it up. So they talk about that now. Minnesota has McDaniels and Alexander.
Yeah.
Right. But it's going to be interesting to see how both of them play out.
Yeah. No, McDaniels is going to get pissed how many calls is going to get called on him when Luka's bumping into his chest.
You see how Dort was playing Luka, man? There was some football out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's about to get the same thing in this next series. And it's funny because I remember bringing this up to you, asking about the Denver and Minnesota series. And it was because we were talking about how to beat Denver.
Right, yeah.
And I told you, and I said, if you can be physical.
Yeah.
Remember I was saying that? Where you look like you feel allowed to do that.
If the refs let you be physical.
And he was like, if you said you're at the refs, and they did. And in Game 7, and then that other Game 6, they let them, play. And I feel like in the playoffs, they let you play. So that's something that, shout out to, again, my Boston Celtics, we got to get prepared for. We have to be physical.
Yeah.
And we have to be ready for teams to be physical. We can't complain. That was one thing. That's another thing that gets us up. Gets me so upset. Is that we complain a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We complain to the refs. We're complaining. Oh, you fouled me. And you touched me. Dude, just play on. You know what I mean? Get back on defense.
Yeah, get ready also for, if you're a Minnesota fan or a Boston fan in the future, for Luka and that with the refs.
Yeah. So I don't like that, man. As a coach, too, I tell my players all the time, dude, do not complain to the refs. Just play on. They're going to miss some calls. It's human nature. So what? You get back on defense.
Yeah.
I tell them, if you miss something on one end, get it back on the other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. I think, all the moves Dallas made are working out when it comes to Kyrie or PJ Washington, Lively, Gafford. All those guys were very important to being this, I think, loaded Thunder team. Looking down the roster, Thunder way more talented, but PJ left his body, and Lively and Gafford were just able to move Chet out of the way.
Yeah. So that was a big thing, and I think why the Oklahoma City is gonna have to get a big.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
people. There were some like smarts out there that were like losing their minds that during the trade deadline they went with Gordon Hayward and not another big.
Yeah, and it turns out that it looks like Gordon Hayward's kind of frustrated with his playing time, and he's not happy.
So he's cooked. I mean,
You know what I mean?
he gets put in for 5 minutes and like literally gets 1 rebound, 1 assist.
I saw the stat: 49 minutes, 0 points.
Yeah,
That's crazy, dude. I don't know how you do it, man. We used to have him, so I'm a fan of his, but it's not the same.
so back when he was on Boston in 2018,
Yeah.
they're talking about if the Celtics won the finals that year, only 2 people were going to go to DC to meet Trump.
Oh
It was going to be Gordon Hayward happy and Jaylen Brown with a gun.
Man, I remember that. Yeah. Oh, I remember that team too. That was good. That was a good year.
Yeah, that was part of like the too soon Boston Celtics run where they just outshot a bad East. Where the East like from 2012 to 2018 was LeBron.
Yeah, I remember that too. I remember Game 7.
Yes,
against
Game
LeBron.
7.
Almost had them, man. I felt like we were so close, dude. That was a team too where you talk about willing your team. LeBron willed that Cavs team
Yeah.
to that win because we definitely were in position to win that game and go to the finals. So
He's been willing his team since 2007, after beating those Pistons and then getting to that finals in 2007.
although I don't know if he can do it anymore, man. It's coming to that time. At least I know he's still playing well. The dude's getting, whatever, 26, 29 points a game. He's not the guy where you can carry the franchise to load like that right now.
Well, it's like Anthony Davis is like, kind of like in position to be the number 1 guy for the Lakers and like is supposed to be. And I don't think he's disappointing anyway. I think Anthony Davis is still incredible. But they have just no assets. Every time they try to do a bailout, like splash, give up every draft pick for a point guard. Yeah. And that strategy just doesn't work. As we're seeing with, Timberwolves and Celtics and Nuggets are all built a little more organically.
Yeah, that's the new way of the way teams are going now. But I'll tell you what, it'll be a good move from the Lakers.
What's that?
If they can get Donovan Mitchell.
Ooh.
Okay, because
Yeah.
listen.
I wanted to talk about Donovan Mitchell,
Listen,
yeah.
If they could get Donovan Mitchell, and because like you said, you were saying AD to be the number 1, but listen, I don't think AD wants to be the number 1, if I'm being honest.
No.
I think he's more comfortable putting him in that Bosch role. LeBron can literally recreate Miami in LA. Look at this. Donovan be Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
Go be the number 1. Go get buckets. Be that number 1 guy. Score. Do what you got to do. LeBron, facilitate off the ball. Whatever you got to do, you're that LeBron. And then Anthony Davis in that Bosch role. And it's like, there you go. You got the big 3 again.
It is
and
funny
fill them around with some role players.
that he just wants the Heatles every time. When he went back to Cleveland, it was Kyrie and Kevin Love. And
That's his formula.
that run was, I guess you could say playoff Rondo was that bubble ring and
sure.
Anthony Davis.
Yeah. But dude, I think Donovan would be a perfect fit for the Lakers. That would be a 3-headed, a monster attack right there. So,
We've seen this so many times with the Clippers, though, trying to do the 3-headed monster, and they currently, you could say, have a 4-headed monster if you count Westbrook.
Well, one of their monsters doesn't play. That's the problem. One of their monsters doesn't play.
Their biggest head doesn't play.
You know what I mean? It's like, hello. It's like, what would we be if you actually played? I don't understand. That's the whole crap. I don't understand. This legacy is kind of in question to me because it's like, yeah, you were great, but you were great when you played, and I don't know. Maybe he's just got this like really bad injury where he's just suffering or something. But it's like, dude, you load manage all throughout the season. You get to the playoffs, and then you play. And I don't know, man. It's like at this point, I can't even remember him for what he was.
Well, a lot of Philly fans remember him for what he was.
Yeah, I'll never forget that for sure.
I think the biggest what if with Kawhi is 2017, Zaza Pachulia stomping his ankle out. Because people saying the 27 missed threes by the Rockets, but Kawhi himself it looked like the best shot to beat those Warriors.
Yeah, that would have been interesting too because that game was looking very
Spurs favorite.
Yeah, Spurs favorite. I remember they were up a lot. So again, injuries, man. Injuries can turn a series just like that.
I think though Kawhi, in terms of his legacy, is pretty well set. Having the Finals MVPs with Spurs and Toronto, like the one where super young and it was against like a GOAT candidate in LeBron, and then one where he just kind of put Toronto on his back.
He was so good for those years that he was playing, especially in San Antonio. Though, he was arguably up there with LeBron as being the best player.
Oh yeah,
I mean, people were talking about that two-way person. So it's just kind of sad to see because injuries, man. It's one of those things. Like we can make a whole list.
Oh yeah,
of injury players that could have would have been. So I just wish that he would get a full season with this Clippers team with a healthy Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden, and let's see what happens. But it didn't happen this year, man.
Yeah. I don't think if you could jump ahead if you have one, but I'm trying to think of my personal injury. What if? Because I know for a lot of people of my generation, it's like Derrick Rose.
That's the first one that comes to mind for sure, Derrick Rose. Oh man, what's his name off the Blazers? Roy.
Not Hibbert, but
No.
Brandon Roy. Oh my God!
I can't believe shout out to Brandon Roy. I can't believe.
That is my answer too. Brandon Roy.
Brandon
Roy was so cool.
was that guy. And if you kids don't know Brandon Roy, go look him up.
2008, Brandon Roy was a top 5 player in the league.
Killer, dude. This guy was Damian Lillard before Damian Lillard.
Kind of.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was doing things that, he was definitely up there. Another one's Tracy McGrady.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we knew what he was, but he still got hurt to a point where he never could be the full potential, I believe.
I have a Orlando McGrady jersey.
Yeah. Penny Hardaway.
Yeah.
Penny Hardaway. Grant Hill.
Grant Hill.
You know what I mean? Grant Hill, they were saying was supposed to be the next Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
right?
he was supposed to be like the transition superstar between Jordan and James.
Oh, yeah, okay, there you go. So, there's a lot of players you can make a whole list that were special.
Yeah.
We're forgetting the big fella. Gary Golden.
Great. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He got hurt, all the time with his foot. He was could have been special.
You know who beat broken leg? Paul George. I forget he broke his leg at points now.
Yeah, for sure. He came back, and that's another thing. See, so hey, that's hard to come back from. That's why we're saying Gordon Hayward,
never the same after game 1 of being in Boston. That was crazy.
It's tough. So shout out to Paul George, man, because he's still doing his thing. He's still looking right, and he might be on the move though.
Paul George.
Summer,
So I think Paul George. To me, there's 2 places.
Yeah.
I think in terms of the money, Philly.
That's where I was thinking. Philly. Philly's good.
But in terms of fit,
I
propose the Magic. Because the Magic need a wing scorer like that.
Oh, man.
And the Magic they're growing.
Yeah, but he doesn't have time to grow. He's getting older, man. He needs a now team. And I feel like that Philly is a now team.
But Joel Embiid might be on his way to New York.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think he's leaving.
You don't think he's leaving?
I don't think he's leaving. They're going to get rid of other pieces. They're going to bring pieces before he leaves. If they can get Paul George, to get him there, I don't think he'll leave.
Probably.
Because that's a good chance. If you got Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, and Joel Embiid, you got a legitimate chance, especially in the East.
The biggest thing, for the Sixers keeping Embiid was Maxey's level up.
Yeah, dude, Maxey is turned into an all-star.
Yeah, he's taken away from De'Aaron Fox, just fastest guy in the league.
Oh man, yeah, he's super quick. So, and you see what he did in the playoffs?
Yeah.
I mean, this guy was hitting half-court shots. You know, I mean, this guy, he's turned into a real legit player.
Sam Van Gundy would still tell you should have fouled.
Man. And I think about that too. But, you know.
As a fan, you know, you love seeing just the moment happen.
That was a moment right there. You'll never forget that too. And I love that I got to see that. So, no, he's definitely turned into a very valuable player. And if you put Paul George, him, and Embiid, that's a good team. And you put some pieces around him, role players, you got yourself a team.
They need to get rid of Tobias Harris.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I didn't want to say his name.
There's been no...
That's why I said get some pieces.
There's been no more invisible 15-7 guy than Tobias Harris.
I don't know. It feels like he's been in the league forever, too. And
I know.
It's just like, it's been the same. There's been no growth.
No.
I don't understand. There's been no growth.
Well, because, like, I think his first year at Philly, then right before when he was in Detroit, was, like, really good. But I think that was... Him in Detroit Magic was just good stats, bad team.
Wasn't he on the Clippers?
He was also on the Clippers for
half
the season.
Saying.
Yeah.
So there's just been no growth with him. And that's just sad to see because he could be a legit all-star as well.
Yeah.
If he was to, you know, pan out. He could be...
He has the gifts.
Man, he could be what Michael Porter Jr. is.
True.
You know what I mean? He could be one of those players that to help.
He could be the third best player on a championship contending team.
He could be a Michael or an Aaron Gordon, whichever play style you want him to play.
Yeah.
But he can be a solid guy. You know, I don't know. You know, it's funny. I heard that Celtics might want him to come off the bench. I said, I don't know.
Please give more minutes to Sam Hauser.
Yeah.
Before you pick Tobias.
Shout out to Sam. Hey, I know we need more guys. We need Brissett and like I said, Kata and these guys. Sorry, to come off the bench.
Do you think? What does Boston do if Porzingis comes back and they still lose?
What do we do?
What's the offseason looking like for Boston? Do you get rid of anything? Just run it back?
You know, I know there's questions with Derek White's contract. We signed Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
But there was a question about Derek White.
And you just signed Brown for the biggest contract.
Yeah, and we're going to have to sign Tatum. So, you know, I obviously as a fan, if we can run it back, I would love to run it back. And I want to keep this team how it is. You know, if we lose, I don't think we panic and break it up. I don't think we get if we're talking about getting rid of, you know, either Tatum or Brown. I don't think we do that. You know, I just feel it's one of those things.
It's just hard also because, like, what do you add? Or, like, who you realistically could add?
There's nothing really out there. The only thing we would be able to do is get a buyout guy.
Yeah.
Buyout, you know, or somebody who's, you know, on the streets, like like we did in 08 with PJ Brown. Shout out to PJ Brown. He was on the streets. But no, there's nothing that we could really add. So no, if we knock on wood, don't make it, and don't close the door this year. We don't panic. We stay the same.
So I have an idea for a brief little mental exercise if you think you're up for it.
Yeah, what's up?
So of the 4 remaining teams we have, we do all NBA first team, second team, third team. And I want to see if any of the 4 teams right now have a better starting 5 than if we were to make a third team.
Okay.
So on my first team, I would say Luka, Tatum, probably Halliburton, and Anthony Edwards. And then our one big would be, let's see, got Porzingis, who hasn't really played, Nas Reed.
Oh, you put him in?
Karl Anthony Towns, Gobert. Who? Or then we got Turner. Who's the best big?
To me, the best big would be Towns.
Towns?
Yeah, me.
Towns, all right. Let's put Towns as the first team. Yeah. Second team, we got Brown. We got Kyrie.
Okay. Oh, man, this is tough, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Brown, Kyrie. I don't think any other Mavericks gonna make it.
No.
Timberwolves, we still have McDaniels, probably Gobert.
Yeah, defensive player of the year is gonna make it.
Gobert.
You
And then
want
for
to put Turner?
it might be like Derek White might be coming next. Let's do White, Brown, and Kyrie, Gobert, and thinking. Would you rather have Turner or Nas Reed?
Nas Reed.
Yeah, Nas Reed. So, all right. So our third team would now Turner. We already used White. So Drew Holiday.
Oh, Drew. Man. Yeah.
Yeah. So Turner, Drew, and then we're looking at for the Pacers. We still have Naismith. Oh, Siakam.
Siakam's
should.
gonna be up there.
Do you think Siakam over Nas Reed or not?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, so it's been Nas back.
That's Nas to the third team.
Yeah.
Nas, Turner, Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
And we need 2 and 3 traditionally.
And we got nobody from Dallas, right?
And so we'll put PJ Washington in.
And then who else is there?
We got we got Naismith, Nebhard for Pacers. We got for the Celtics.
But where do we put Porzingis?
Do we leave him off because he's injured, or should we put him in here?
No, he's good. Yeah.
All right. Well, then I think we gotta put him. Let's see. Second team was Gobert and
I'm putting Porzingis over Gobert.
Porzingis over Gobert.
Oh yeah. Are you kidding me?
But I think Gobert was pretty crucial in the Denver series. Again, I'm saying as of this playoffs. Not, I think
when Porzingis was in the playoffs, he was killing it. He was killing it when he was in there.
He played in round 1.
Yeah,
against Heat.
He played a couple games.
Dude, the Heat
in there, he was killing it.
That Heat series felt so.
He was on fire. He
was
on fire from 3. This guy's a bona fide.
All right. We'll put KP in there, but that makes third team beefy with Nas and Rudy.
So then that's what I'm saying, bumping one of them down.
Now we are bumping down to third team.
And then somebody's good from that third team's going to come down. Or get to 13.
Yeah, we're at 13 now because I think it was our bigs the second team is now Porzingis, Brown, Kyrie.
Yeah. You say White.
Yeah, Derek White and Siakam.
Yeah.
So now we have Rudy, Nas Reed, Drew Holiday.
Let's say Turner.
I guess Turner has to be here. So that's 4. And then just that last guy.
But like Al Horford. Fort Rolston.
I think if we're going Celtics, it has to be Peyton Pritchard, but I don't know if we're getting that. I think Naismith or Nebhard or McDaniels.
Yeah, McDaniels.
McDaniels, all right, let's put McDaniels there. All right. Or Conley. We still have Conley.
I'd go McDaniels.
All right. So our third team is Drew Holiday, McDaniels, Turner, Nas Reed, and Gobert.
Yep.
Would you rather have that or the Celtics starting 5?
With
Porzingis. Yeah, would you rather have the third team that we just created or the starting 5 of the Boston Celtics?
Starting 5 for Boston.
So it'll be really disappointing then if Boston loses.
Okay, so what was this? The starting.
So the
starting 5 for Boston was part of the third team in the.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, would you rather have? So it's Drew. The only carryover is Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday.
Because we have Drew Holiday. Jaden McDaniels, Turner, Nas Reed, Gobert. Which I know that's too many bigs, but so don't try to think of it that way. Just again, talent wise.
But still I would take the
Boston
starting 5 because that's Tatum, Brown, White, Holiday, and Porzingis.
Yeah. And I agree with you. I think the Boston Celtics is better
taking that
than starting a third team of what we have left.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, would you want to say better than the second team we made?
Ooh, that would be a spicier take. That's that's White, Irving, Porzingis, Brown. So that's mainly the Boston Celtics, and it was our first team and Siakam.
Or the first team.
So
what was the first?
So would you rather have? I guess then it's Siakam and Irving or Tatum and I guess it's Holiday. Tatum and Holiday, or Irving and Siakam.
I'm going Tatum Holiday.
Wow.
I know I'm a little bit of a homer, but Tatum Holiday.
All right. Well, I think that's our time for this episode.
Oh man, that was great.
I'm down to do another one.
No, that was fun, dude. Thank you so much for having me on. Hopefully, we can turn this into something. This is a great thing that you're doing, and I hope you and I wish you well with your podcast and your journey on this, man. This was great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And if you want to know when the next episode comes out, follow at Winning Time Pod on Twitter. Episodes will be uploaded to Spotify and YouTube. DeAndre, you got anything to plug? Or?
Man, I don't really have that social media, but hopefully you guys will see me again. This is something I also enjoy to do, so hopefully you guys will hear my voice again.
We'll definitely come back at the very least to preview the finals, if not the finals.
Awesome. For sure.